Welcome back. Thank you for choosing to spend some time with me this evening. If it's the first time you've seen my channel, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and hopefully ring that bell to get notifications. You're going to see me create this, what I think is very elegant monotone serving tray. And look, I am even creating my own handles. I love that. If you want to understand what Jesmonite is, take a look at one of my earlier videos where I show you how you mix it up, because there's a lot of slapping those air bubbles out, mixing it quick. You only have really a 5-minute working time before it starts to cure and 20 minutes before it fully cures. Anyway, Sharon, stop digressing and focus on what we're doing now. So the first stage you're going to see is me creating my handles and also coming in and doing the base part of this serving tray. Now, I always knew I was going to have to do it in two halves. The first part is to obviously get the base in so the handles will stick to it when I come and put the top coat in. And I didn't want to put the handles in right at the bottom, otherwise people know that are working on these moulds that you don't leave enough hands for your fingers unless you're very petite, unless that's just me. And I do know I've got a big head, and you might say, well, how do you know that, Sharon? Well, when I go anywhere, they have to go out the back area to find a special hat that'll fit my head. Anyway, I'm digressing. Back on with the project. The difference between Jesmonite resin and epoxy resin is where you place your pattern or your Jesmonite is more or less going to stay where it is because of that rapid curing. And that is a really good thing, but it can be a curse. Well, not a curse, that's a bit dramatic, Sharon, while you're learning how to manipulate it and create your pattern. So as you can see here, I'm thinking, just Sharon, just slap it in that tray. It's going to start to cure. The most important thing is cover half of the bottom of your tray. So when you come to put your handle in and the top part, you're good to go. So I play around a little bit, but I really don't like it. But hang on in there with the rest of the project. You'll see how I work through, problem solve, and get something I enjoy. But I do enjoy learning new things. And I've just realised when I was talking about my big head and I was saying when I'm going out, I meant if you're going to a wedding or if you're going horse riding and you have to wear a hat or helmet, that's what I'm referring to. Anyway, let's get on with this. So I'd say it's about an hour later. By the time it is cured after it's 20 minutes and it's heated up and cooled down, I think I had some lunch. I came back up and I placed my handles and took a while to make sure they were level. And now I'm coming around and doing a swirl technique because what I wanted to do was add interest but in a more controlled way, and I wanted it more random. So I was trying to create a mixture between, I don't know, a pattern or a swirl. Just going with gut feeling and intuition, but at the same time, you can see I'm struggling around my handles there, trying to make sure that I'm getting it to the edge and I'm not destroying it or making it too grey or too dark in areas. So just trying to balance it out, but more importantly, trying to make sure I don't ruin the handles that had just taken a long time to make sure we're at the right level. And you can see I get a little bit of Jesmonite on them, so I just go and clean them up. So I'm trying to make sure, again, it's covered all over. It was quite interesting layering it like you're doing an acrylic pour. Just pouring it to one side and just working with that pattern and just trying to get that level coverage and reveal what patterns and shapes lie in within there, and then see where it is that I want to do to try and add some feature in there. Anyway, I think I've just rambled on then. I hope you got my drift. So I think at this stage also I'm being very mindful of making sure I'm not dislodging the bottom half that's already set, because you know with moulds, once you've released the seal where it was, bits can get down behind it and create a few little dramas, but there wasn't an issue with that. I'm also looking at, oh look, I'm tidying my mess up, for air bubbles. Now you can't apply heat gun or anything like this to it, so you just gently blow. I got that tip off Claire from Claire's Crafty Corner. Pop over and see her and say hi from me, most amazing artist. And then I'm coming in and I'm adding my Sharon swirl, and I'm just going with gut feeling. I didn't know I was actually going to do this. I just see what the gift is in front of me and see where I can work with. And I've always bonded with these swirls, and but as I'm applying it, if you look closely, you'll be able to see that the Jesmonite is starting to cure, so you're seeing more of a drag in there. But I wasn't too bothered because I know I wasn't going to be scraping my mould underneath, and I like a little bit of pressure, what can I say? But I love the swirls in this. I feel it adds so much value. I'd love your opinion on that. And you're going to see me come in and correct the bottom. Now, when I flip it over, this would have been 48 hours later, because I was trying to work out what to do. I added black to the bottom because I really didn't like the base and how that turned out. Now, the challenge with working with Jesmonite to add a new base to it, it did cure together, it bonded well, not an issue there, is making sure you get it to the edge so it's not going to fall over, but at the same time that you've got a very level board. So that was the challenge, but it's more or less level. What I do is I just fix it up by adding a little bit of padding underneath once it's been sealed. But it's reveal time. I'm going to put a bit of music on until you hear me come in very soon at the end to debrief? No, review. All right, thank you again for hanging out with me. I really appreciate your support. See you next time. We are here to review this Jesmonite tray, and I absolutely love this piece. So this has been also coated in the Protect It varnish specifically for Jesmonite, but let's take you in with the detail. I love my created handles. Not perfect, you can see the odd hole, but I'm starting to embrace the holes. But there's number one handle, number two, and I love the intricacy of this design and the swirls, the different degrees in greys to blacks and white, and I just love it. Now, I originally did it and you saw the base, and I really didn't like the base, and I think that's something that I've been learning with Jesmonite. Because it's a very short working time, it's not going to spread as freely as it does when it's resin. So unless you're going to get it to the edges quickly, if you're going to do a base coat like I did on the bottom, which we're going to turn it over, it was challenging and I've ended up with a few bumps, but I can fix it by putting felt underneath. And this tray is going to be for myself. It's a learning curve. And what you find is when you do pour your Jesmonite down, the pattern stays unless you're going to swirl it, which is a positive, but it can be a negative. I'm just going to remove my glasses here that were used to help create my photo for the beginning, and we're going to turn it over. So it now has a very delicate, almost looks like suede design at the bottom. So I love this way better, and that's what I mean about it holds the designs that you're doing. Now under my light it's slightly darker than this. It's coming up more light a grey, and it's definitely shades darker. That's the colour that I see there. But other than the odd little area there, I've managed to get to the edge. It didn't leak over, but I had to force it. So I'll learn on how to do that. So next time I'll pour it on the edge to start with, and then fill the centre and tip it either side. But it's giving you a nice base, not level. I could have sanded that back, but because it's for me, I don't care to the amount of perfection or detail in that. It weighs quite a lot, but it's quite thin also, and the handles are very sturdy. But just let's embrace this design. I mean, how pretty is it? How interesting is it? So this is going to go down on my kitchen counter, and I'm going to use this and love this, and I hope you do too. And for people that are not Jesmonite lovers and they think it's very brittle, well, it's brittle to start with until it fully cures, and then it's pretty hardy. So you do have to, because this is going to be used for cups and serving, it is going to need to be protected because it is porous. And I love it. And you know what? I can't wait to try many different designs in this. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember, like, subscribe, share. Please ring the notification bell when you do subscribe, just so you get information of when my videos are out. Remember to visit my Etsy store should you wish to purchase any of my treasures. If there's things on there or things that's not there, but you want to purchase any of my work, make contact with me and I can do custom made ones. Also, showcase your creations by visiting my Facebook group. Hopefully we will inspire you the same way you will inspire us. It's a very caring community, and we'd love for you to come and hang out and share with us. Anyway, that's enough of that goodness. Come back and visit me soon, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. Have the most amazing day. Bye bye.